Welcome to The Vital Point. I'm Jonathan Schecter, breathwork facilitator, integration coach, and fellow traveler on the path of healing and growth. This show is here to inspire real action in your life, whether you're just beginning or deep on your journey. You'll hear practical tools, guided practices, and conversations with those walking the path. Because the truth is, transformation only happens through practice. That's the vital point. So take a deep breath. Let's begin. Got a quick solo episode for you. I wanted to share a metaphor that's been really helpful for me. I use it often when I am teaching about trauma. It's about surfing. And you may have heard the saying before: you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Before we dive into the content, I wanted to do a couple of things. First, to invite you to the Blue Magic Alchemy group on School. That's skool.com/Blue Magic Alchemy. You'll find live and guided meditations, breath work, yoga, as well as a community of practitioners who can support you. It's really where I've consolidated all of my work. I'm putting workshops in there. I'm going through old interviews and things that I've done and posting them there, as well as the Path of Meditation, which is a 30-day how-to meditation course that I did earlier this year. All the breath work is running through there, as well as having replays. There's live sessions. So there's a lot of value there if you are interested in your own development. The second thing is just to offer a brief practice that we could drop in with before we get into the podcast. Now, since this is more of a trauma and somatic type content that I'm presenting today, I thought something to get into the body. Now, assuming that you are not driving and that you are somewhere where it's safe to really drop in to your body, you're not operating heavy machinery or whatnot, go ahead and put your feet on the floor. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, letting it out. And what do you notice right now in the space that you're in without turning your head, without doing too much movement? Just notice what's here in your experience right now. You notice your breath. Does it get a little slower or deeper as you notice it? How about the temperature in the room, air on your skin? And what about sound? And what else is here in your experience? The way your clothes feel. Maybe there's some smells. Maybe you're eating or drinking something. You can taste that. Maybe take a moment to drop into the feeling of support of whatever you're sitting on or in. And now, if it's safe to do so, just allow your head to turn the eyes to move. Go ahead and take that in. Just notice what the eyes notice. Let them wander, let them explore. How does that change the experience that you're having? How do you feel? Does your breath change? Are there any physical sensations that have shifted? How about emotionally? And lastly, take a moment just to connect to the heart space. Maybe putting a hand on your chest. Maybe imagining that the breath is going right into that space. And again, just noticing what shifts along with this experience. Perhaps the breath changes, physical shifts in the body. Thanks for taking that time with me, and you can come back to that practice whenever you need. So, today I wanted to talk about this saying and how I like to use it and how I like to explain it when I'm teaching, when I'm talking about trauma, especially. And I use this saying a lot, especially when I'm talking to people that may be new to healing, new to working with their situation. But I think it's applicable to all of us. And one of the reasons that I feel like I use it with folks that are new is that oftentimes when we're new to this journey, to this path, when we've decided that we are going to heal or change, especially if it's something that's becoming our identity, and no judgment there. I mean, this is a pretty big part of my identity. But when we start to really put our head down and lean into this path, oftentimes we are at a place of desperation, frustration, confusion, loss. There's something that needs to change. And oftentimes, this is not an overnight experience, it's something that we have struggled with for a while. And so, the way that you approach it when you begin is that you want the waves to stop. You've been out in the break just getting pounded, wave after wave after wave after wave, and it doesn't feel like it's going to end. And you're tired. And so now you're in this place, you're working with someone, or you got a book, or you went to a ceremony, and enough's enough. I want those waves to stop. And that's a really uncomfortable place to be because it's not realistic. What if the waves are never going to stop? So I like the metaphor of You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. Because let's just get the given out of the way that you can't stop the waves. And the work isn't about stopping the waves, it's about learning how to surf better. One of the things that my therapist that I've been with for quite a while said that really left an impact, and it's something that I've come back to in my relationship with my partner time and again, is that the object is not to make the container smaller. It's not to shrink to safety. It's about making the container bigger, big enough to hold everything that's happening. So let's apply that to our surf metaphor. If you wanted to be a better surfer, there are lots of different things that you could do. You could take a surfing class. You could get a different board, maybe even a different type of wetsuit to make you more comfortable. You could find a group of surfers that you could hang out with, make friends with. Maybe they could show you different techniques, different places to surf. Maybe that's the key right there is finding a place that is more appropriate for you and your skill level. Maybe today I don't want to go paddle out on those big waves. Maybe today I want to take it a little more easy. Sometimes you're going to wipe out. And when you do, it makes sense that maybe you take some time off. Maybe you recuperate. Maybe I just love the metaphor because I am a fan of surfing. I surfed a little bit when I was younger. And then there's some really cool documentaries about big wave surfers and how they prepare and the rigor and discipline and preparation mentally, physically, emotionally that goes into those experiences, especially when wiping out could be a life or death encounter. What you're not going to do, hopefully, after that wipeout is just take your board and go home forever. Like, I can't do this. I can't think about it. That's it. I'm done. I've had it. So, what we're speaking about is building resilience, or you might say capacity to deal with something that's challenging. You're not going to catch every wave. Sometimes you wipe out. When you wipe out, you have tools, resources, support from other people to get back up and keep going. If you've never surfed before, it's a magical feeling to ride a wave. If I was working with someone and they said, wow, I'm really afraid to surf, but I want to learn, I don't take them out to like the North Shore of Hawaii or Portugal or somewhere that's known for big, giant waves. That's not the place that you learn. So you get the metaphor that I'm going for, right? That the way to approach this work is slowly with titration, not running out into the, you know, 60-foot wave day one. And yet there's so many people that I've worked with that that's the approach that they have coming in. The more that you use the tools, the more that you practice, the more times you get out there, you paddle out, catch the wave, the easier it gets. So it's not about shrinking it down, staying in the shallows forever. It's about continuing to surf better. Sometimes if somebody comes in and they're like, "Yeah, I just had a bunch of big wipeouts and the thought of surfing was really scary." Well, yeah, then we stay in the shallows, then we work with talking about the surfing, maybe driving to the beach, seeing how that feels. But that is what I love about this work is that it's about meeting you where you are, not trying to push you into something that is too much, too soon, too fast, because that's what trauma is. Literally, the definition of trauma is the overwhelm to the system, too much, too soon, too fast. And things like meditation and breath work and intentionally working with medicines and integrating those experiences, exercise, being mindful about what I'm consuming. Those are the things that have helped me get better at surfing, doing somatic experiencing, not just talking to a therapist about my problems. All these are part of my own recipe for what's helped me and how I now can help other people. So if this resonated with you, I would love to have a conversation. You can go to bluemagicalchemy.com and sign up for a free consultation call, or just shoot me an email, bluemagicalchemy@gmail.com. And you could also come check out the free community on school.com/bluemagicalchemy. There's a lot of cool stuff there, a lot of practices, lots of surfing exercises, if you will. And I really appreciate you listening to the podcast. If it's helped you, if you resonated with this, give us a follow, maybe share it with a friend. If you could leave a review, that would be great. It really helps other people find the work. And don't forget, for more practices and deeper integration, you can join me on School at Blue Magic Alchemy. Until next time, stay with the practice and stay connected to what matters. Remember, it's not about the method you choose or the pace at which you travel. The vital point is to keep practicing.